deliver the lower carbon energy the growing world demands today while building the energy system of tomorrow.
We're always seeking out technology advancements across our operations. This includes areas that will help us detect anomalies, predict maintenance needs, and increase the security at the edge.
Monitoring facilities on a global scale is complex. Some of our operations are in remote areas with limited infrastructure and connectivity.
In those locations, we use drones, robotics, and sensors to enhance safety and efficiency and business performance. It also helps us reduce complexity and operate our sites more autonomously.
We need real-time information about our assets and the operations to ensure reliable operations and the safety of our workers.
We have a foundation in Azure, which has helped us create a cloud-to-edge platform to monitor our assets across the globe.
Co-innovating with Microsoft was a natural choice due to their expertise and adaptive cloud approach.
We are applying Azure IoT operations enabled by Azure Arc for unified management of IoT devices across our environment. It allows for AI deployment, enforces security needs, and optimizes efficiency with automated provisioning and updates.
Enhancing on-site monitoring can help reduce costs and potential risks, thereby improving the safety of our workforce.
By collaborating with Microsoft, we can use cloud technologies at the edge to effectively manage our assets. That ultimately helps us to deliver the affordable, reliable, ever cleaner energy the world needs.
All right, good morning. Thank you all so much for coming into our session. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first Ignite. My name is Michael McKenzie. I lead digital operations for Microsoft. We've got a great agenda this morning for you, a couple of partners, some really exciting stuff. And the whole idea is we wanted to bring you a little bit of the frontier customer view. We have, an incredible journey ahead of us as we move into the Industrial 5.0 revolution. And we have customers who are moving from, many years old equipment into robotics and now beyond. So we're really excited to share that with you today and give you a bit of a view of the future. Really, AI really truly is transforming every sector, including manufacturing, including operations. Every sector, every person, every mission is going to be impacted by AI. And the way in which we shape it is having a foundational change effect to how we manage operations. When you think about how we can use AI in a really practical sense, in a really practical way in operations, we think about getting physical equipment connected. We want to get that data up, and we want to be able to use AI and analytics to reason over that data. This is leading to things like self-healing supply chain, mobile fleet optimizations. My favorite is self-dispatching field services, where we consider, a machine that can self-diagnose problems, dispatch a crew, suggest, what standard operating procedure to come with, what kind of skills need to be there, what kind of spare parts they should bring. And what this is doing is reducing the amount of time that is required for first fix in many situations. So think about the practical applications in an operations environment, and it really truly is transformational. We haven't changed how we think about industrial transformation. We still think about safety first. We still think about operational efficiency, and we still think about how to make sure we're connecting those data silos to get the most out of our operations. But the first industrial revolution, the Industry 4.0 promise was to bring together all the data silos, and that's been a big challenge. I think as we move forward with industrial AI, we think about how to connect all those things that we didn't manage to get connected the first time. Things like free text fields in standard operating procedures or root cause analysis documents, things like that. These are things that have been very difficult for us to, bring together and stream together, but AI is changing that. We can use an AI in mixed human teams to look at those free text fields, pull that data out, apply it to live running data, and to start making better operational decisions. So this truly is a transformational technology. And what's really surprising to me, having been in industrial automation for so many years, is how reliant and confident companies are that this is truly transformational. And this is coming because they're seeing their own fast results. As we surveyed the companies that we're working with, the thing that stood out to me was just the amount of confidence that the C-level and the worker, the frontline worker, has in this technology being transformational. Now, of course, we still have a lot of systems that are, 50-year-old equipment. We still have installations that are, struggling just to get data, and this is normal. So whether you're a Wave 1 customer where, you're just trying to get equipment connected, you're just trying to get, that basic analytics on that running data to see what you can do, or whether you're a Wave 2 customer, somebody who's already using things like Chevron, using computer vision and AI to do leak detection across their pipelines. There's a huge spectrum in there. And in every case, these companies are seeing quick results just by getting connected and starting to run that data through those AIs. When we think about connected worker as an example, it's just a great example where we can apply AI to safety, something that we would consider, virtual velvet rope. Somebody who stumbles and falls outside of a safe zone in an operational facility or in these operational campuses, it's able to alarm and alert and send somebody with the right skills quickly to check on the situation and make sure that person's okay. We can also give workers, data right at their fingertips using augmented reality and things like that. So there's so many applications for this, and it's changing the way we think about the physical world. Now, agentic AI is coming, and it's here, and it's no longer kind of the vision of the future. Companies are using this very successfully, and there's kind of a spectrum on how companies use generative AI and agentic AI. When you think about the original Gen AI kind of use cases, it was all about reasoning. And I think a couple of years ago, many companies started to build these shop floor assistants, kind of the "may I help you" chatbot. If I have a weird alarm code, I can quickly pump it in and say, hey, how do I troubleshoot this alarm code? It can give me back a root cause. It can tell me how to troubleshoot. It can also tell me how to fix. So it was a great application. And I think this gave people a lot of confidence in this technology. As we move forward, there's new types of agents that we can apply. Things like the validation agents. I was talking to a plant manager in an automobile plant. And they were talking about, hitting torque bolts at one of the stations. The worker has to hit 5 torque bolts in very quick succession. They all have to be done right. If they slip on one, or if they just don't quite hit it the right way, a torque bolt could be left out. If that happens down the line, they have a quality issue. They have to stop. They have to do rework. If instead a validation agent can look and quickly flag to say, wait, that one needs a little extra hit. Okay, boom. It stops the rework, it stops that RMA process, it helps improve their quality, and they can move on. So it's creating operational efficiency everywhere. And when you think about, the advances to truly agentic supervisory agentry, we can think about, an agent that's looking at the entire field all at once, thinking about all of the operational efficiencies that could be there. This can help us to make better recommendations, look for inefficiencies, look for problems that we were, previously unaware of, because we are human and it's difficult for us to look across an entire process all at once. So these supervisory agents are able to make great recommendations and sometimes even make micro adjustments in automated real time to make sure that we're improving quality and efficiency. So we have, at Microsoft, we have a portfolio of tools to help you get connected to the physical world. Like I talked about Wave 1 and Wave 2. We've got great message broker technology. We've got a great classic IoT set of technologies. And last year at Ignite, we launched IoT Operations, which is all about connecting operations itself in the edge. This is more of a unified control plane, unified data plane deployment architecture that really moves from device connectivity to the cloud to fully agentic, fully deployable architecture that can be used then with agentic operations. And we still have these tools in the kit because there's a lot of different ways in which you need to think about having those physical assets be connected. Some of those assets are mobile assets. So we still have the IoT Hub set of tools to connect up things like rail cars, shipping containers, wind turbines, things like that, to make sure that anything out in the wild can still be connected. And we also have the IoT operations, which we launched last year, like I mentioned, to help us collect things that are more co-located or geolocated together. Something like the four walls of a plant, the equipment inside of that. And we use all this edge data processing to make sure that we're delivering value up to Fabric and to AI Foundry so that we can get those great results and deliver that back to the running process. Because this really is all about closing the loop back. So at this event, and for a couple days, we've been talking about some of our big launches. We've reinvested in our IoT Hub technology this year. So I'm really excited about that. This technology has received a couple of new features. One is Microsoft-backed X509 certificates. This allows you to do better identity management, better lifecycle management for all those things that are connected in the wild, because the cybersecurity landscape is always changing. And it's so important to think about how to quickly rotate and quickly manage the identities of the things that we're connecting to. We've also launched Azure Device Registry more widely to be used with IoT Hub devices. And what this allows is that we have connected machines, connected equipment that can become first-class Azure citizens. That means we can use this with any other Azure service, and we can pull data into things like Lighthouse for third-party access control management and things like that. And with IoT operations, we've just done our October release, the release we call 2510. This was packed with features that our customers have been requesting for more than a year. Absolutely packed. There's a great blog post linked on my LinkedIn if you want to go have a look at that. There's too many features to talk about, but this is bringing unprecedented visibility to the operations and new control mechanisms. So I encourage you to go have a look at that. Now, you heard a little bit about Chevron's use case and their computer vision that they're using for leak detection. We also work with Ecopetrol, who's an oil and gas company who's really thinking about changing their entire digital estate to be more connected and to think about how to apply AI. And one that I'm really proud of is Husqvarna. Husqvarna is the company that builds these the chainsaw picture there, for example. They build tooling, they build professional grade equipment. And we've been working with Husqvarna on one of their AI vision programs where they're using it right inside their manufacturing process to quickly identify quality issues in the parts that are being stamped before those parts get applied to the finished good. What that's allowing is a higher level of quality out of the product, less RMA, less rework time, and a great way to basically apply AI in a highly practical sense right inside of their operational process. So I'm really excited today. We've got a couple of great partners. And why? Industrial transformation is a team sport. We have to work with great partners to deliver this. No one company can really do the entire spectrum on their own. So working together with great partners is how we deliver great value. And that starts often with process automation. So I'm really excited to introduce and invite up Rajesh from ABB to the stage to talk a little bit about what ABB is doing. Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Excellent. Thanks, Mike. And I'm really glad to see a good crowd interested on the industrial frontier. I'm sure a lot of you are transforming your roadmap and your value to customers with industrial AI. My name is Rajesh, Global Chief Digital Officer for ABB. And ABB is a 140 years heritage company with more than 100 countries we serve. And we are one of the very few companies pioneered in all the 4 industry revolutions. You saw Mike talking about Industry 5.0, which we are leading up to as well. Our value to customer is to bring our domain expertise along with technology and AI together to solve some of the most complex problems on the operations, processes, assets, and sustainability. And what you see are some of the examples of our own industrial OEM equipments that we manufacture, but also helping our customers to automate, electrify, and digitalize it. And now with a focus of AI for the last decade also to bring the value of prediction, optimization, as well as making agentic to make it autonomous operations. What we do now, we are busy on making how to help customers to seamlessly extend from automation to autonomous operations. And we look at the AI frontier, we look at it in 3 pillars. I'm sure that many of you do the same way. I'll talk about the rightmost one, which is fundamentally that what we have been doing it for last 10 years also, that how do you make customers to outperform by embedding AI. Here we talk about the industrial AI of domain and analytical AI to solve pretty complex problems. It could be on quality side, reliability of assets, or predicting or operations, or even making process operator to make real-time decisions to optimize. In fact, with this, we also built totally a new revenue stream for ABB. I mean, I joined about 6 years back in ABB, in the industry for 35 years. We have a pretty sizable industrial AI business, which is also a revenue stream for us to bring value to customers. We also took an approach of, rather than point solutions, to have it as a platform approach. We built what we call as Genix, which is our flagship product, right on top of the dealers quadrant. It's fundamentally to bring a value pillar applications to the customers by solving what Mike said of consolidating the OT, IT, ED data, but making the scale of AI. But then last 3 years back, we started on the leftmost side, which is AI for employees. There is a study from McKinsey just recently talking about unless 30% of your scope of the organization is involved in what you're trying to change, you cannot do the change management successful. That means that it's not about like just part of your organization making a change on AI, it has to be across. With generative AI, we started becoming a lot more value creation for our employees to bring their productivity upskilling as well as making them to explore and bring a lot of curiosity of learning. And last 12 months, our focus has been also on the middle one, which is fundamentally looking at agentic automation to make virtual agents that will make a completely different experience of our business processes and customer experience. I will show some of the good examples here. It's a good journey that actually made us to be able to become a frontier, I would say. This is our, what makes a trick as a platform underneath. This is Genix. I'll rather spend more time on the use cases. But this started with analytical AI. Then it added the Copilot with generative AI. We used Microsoft technologies underneath from last 10 years. And we continue to shape our products along with Microsoft and partners. And agentic AI has been our biggest value and enabler for autonomous operations. It's a very simple, but you guys all know that the most important use case always has been in the industrial IoT and AI spaces, asset performance management. And what we have done in last 2 years is to bring the capability of both generative and agentic automation. I can show you this as a quick use case here. In the right side, you can see that what's happening is, you saw the Genix Copilot in the right side. Imagine identify the critical asset with highest frequency of recurring events and also specify the dominant failure mode.
Asset is compressor C003B and the failure mode is high vibration.
So what's happening here is, without even looking at an application, a maintenance engineer can just from this car ask conversationally in terms of what's the critical assets are likely to go into file, which is coming from the prediction of the AI models which is already in the product. It's also helping to be able to look at the whole root cause analysis and creating a summary of report. And not only that, you saw that a couple of seconds before, it is giving the root cause of a specific failure mode. It's also giving that what is the inventory available for this particular compressor. Until that availability, what should be the operational set points, you can change it so that you can still make that asset to work without making it to fail or even degrade, but keep the thresholds lower. It's also very important for an asset reliability engineer that they keep seeing the accuracy of the models that are behind. And what you see here is the way that it is giving you the observability of the AI models and also guides the reliability engineer to retrain the models. It's bringing, of course, significant benefits in terms of whether for the asset reliability or even the energy efficiency being optimized, a pretty good degree for the critical assets. So let's take another use case. Here, what we have done is not just enabling an engineer on the shop floor for a maintenance engineer. Here it is going beyond that. If there is a problem, without even reaching to the service engineer from the ABB side, they reach out back to a service agent, which is acting as a virtual agent of a knowledge expert. It's solving the problem for a person who is on the shop floor. That's pretty cool. So it has been solving more than 80% of the support cases otherwise coming to our digital operations team who was helping earlier. Today, the customer, the engineer or supervisor on the floor, the field engineer could solve it using what we call as a Genix Copilot for My Measurement Assistant. This is one of the use cases which is, we are very proud that the first generative AI powered industrial device management. Let me show a quick demo here as well. What you see in the right side on the mobile is fundamentally is what an engineer on the shop floor will do. They will just scan the QR code of the gas analyzer here. You know that the gas analyzer is down, you're going to shut down the machine sometimes because the emission breaches cannot be allowed. The real-time data and the error code is going back to the cloud of Genix Copilot, which is our Copilot based on the Azure OpenAI. It's analyzing the errors coming from the system. It is relating to the error codes coming from behind the data sheets and the work orders, as well as the previous information that the knowledge of the service expert from ABB side. It's giving the actions, but also that in some cases we can automate the case creation on the CRM ticket as well. When all this happening, it's actually the agent behind this is doing it. There are about 12 different agents are orchestrating each other to be able to bring what is needed to solve the problem for a customer in this case. Here we are looking at the shop floor engineer is augmented with the AI capability to make them more productive as well as solve the problem quickly. Right? It has cut down the troubleshooting time by 60 to 80% for a person or for an engineer who is in the customer side in the industrial operations. We went further ahead of looking at how do we even go further on autonomous operations. Here's a fantastic example where I'm sure that many of you know that in the process automation, you have to keep calibrating your instrumentation, your analyzers. If you don't calibrate, they are not going to get the right values to measure as well as right, for instance, CO2 emissions, methane emissions, ammonia emissions. If you don't calibrate it, the numbers could even violate the breaches for you to regulatory reporting. And ABB used to give a service for this called as that verification service digitally. And today it's automated. There's no human in the loop. So whenever there is a calibration need by seeing the threshold change from a particular instrument, this Copilot is pushing the changes need to be done on that specific analyzer, gas analyzer, or the instrumentation automatic. So there's no human involved. And of course, the calibration is something that you can do it with the knowledge of the operational data as well as the data sheet. You don't need a human to do that, right? So it's completely automating it. Same thing is applied for many other use cases. We sell a lot of drive systems. As you know, like ABB is the leader on motion and drive systems, motors and drives. We now have done pilots of creating a digital twin of the drives and motors in a process context, not just like asset. And doing the complete remote commissioning of parameters for the drive systems and automating that as an autonomous operation. The last one which I'm super excited also is what we call as a knowledge vault. This is possibly going to the extreme of taking the human knowledge. So far you saw that AI is helping humans, AI is helping machines, AI is automating it. Here we are talking about real the human AI collaboration as Mike mentioned. The expertise that is sitting with the people for years of together of working on your own industry's processes and operations. The data is within you, it's not gone outside. It is captured, that knowledge is captured for your own industries inside this knowledge vault by natural language, as well as Mike said, a lot of documents which are unstructured data. This is brought into the system that resides within the industry. And this is a knowledge vault. All it does is that it's actually capturing this knowledge from either the voice or text, whatnot. It creates dynamic workflows. The AI is creating the dynamic workflows agents. The workflows are converted into the standard operating procedures for tasks, doing the different tasks, like quality control as the first use case. We could automate the quality control inspections for many of the process instruments using this. So I think the boundaries are limitless, and I believe that it's not about just AI helping humans, but human knowledge is also enriching the AI on the processes together. That's what I see is going to be an autonomous operation impact. And you could see the results. We see that capturing the workflow creation of the procedures, very complex procedures of doing that, is all reduced by 85% with this particular Copilot that we released. And these are a few examples. I'll be super happy to be able to talk to you, work with you on seeing that what we got for our customers. These are all set of examples where we have today agentic AI solutions beyond just saying the reasoning, but actually making the complete change and closed loop with supervisory in loop. You possibly will see, if you Google it, you will see one of the use cases that we are now just with 2 engineers in the control room managing the largest solar power plant in the world, single site in Abu Dhabi, which is about 3.8 million solar panels, 20 square kilometers, is being managed by Genix in a control room with just 2 engineers. That's what I call as going to the autonomous operation as an example. And we'll be happy to provide more information on this. You can also see in ABB websites, and you can reach out to me as well. Last one, we believe that as much as we are helping our customers on the industries to be able to get the power of, unlock the power of our AI, we see that it should also help us within ABB. Not on the way that we develop products, which we do quite a lot. In fact, we use quite a lot of GitHub Copilot for building our own products and software engineering. But we have been also making a significant progression on sales cycle as well as the services cycle, on creating a totally different degree of customer experience by building agents. And I'm also responsible for ensuring that we are able to scale this across the ABB as a group, which is a $35 billion company. I would say that the AI is going to make a significant value, which is already making for your customers, for your business operational excellence, as well as for your people. And we see this in action today. With that, I'll give back to Mike, possibly again.
Thanks. Thanks, Rajesh. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's very exciting. So we hear a lot about automation and we hear a lot about robotics, and we know how robotics is changing companies. But our next speaker is going to talk a little bit about how their company is changing robotics itself. So I really want to welcome to the stage Stefan from Wundelbots. Thank you, Stefan.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here and for your interest in the session. Looking forward to talk to you a little bit about what we do. So my name is Stefan. I'm the Chief Product and Technology Officer at Wundelbots, and we are democratizing industrial robotics, of course together with Microsoft and other partners. And we think to really bring robotics forward and to the next level, a fundamental change is needed to make robots into software-defined objects and really upgrade the stack that engineers are working with when they work with robots. We think that is highly necessary because when we look at the software stack and the tools that are being used today when engineers work with industrial robots, those typically date back to the 1980s and 1990s. Process-oriented programming languages, tools that are really made for scarce experts to bring robots into automated factory environments. And again, to open that up and bring it to the next level, we think a fundamental shift is very much needed. This is why we built the product that we built. Wandelbots Nova is our answer to this challenge. It's a software-centric operating system and development platform for any robot, harmonizing brands, controllers, and also programming languages. And once you have all robots in a factory unified under one system, a lot of things become possible. You can give developers a single environment with modern tools, a modern programming model and language, and you can start to have the ability to treat robots like software-defined systems, which means you can bring simulation and AI through, for example, the integration with NVIDIA Omniverse, Isaac Sim, and Isaac Lab that we have as well, directly into the workflow. And since everything follows the same abstractions, the same APIs, and the same logic, you can also apply that across the systems on your factory floor. And suddenly, as a developer, you can build end-to-end pipelines from virtual development to physical deployment and to continuous improvement and iterations. And we see this as the chance to transform robotics from custom and bespoke individual projects and integrations into scalable and repeatable software engineering. One of the most powerful examples of how we bring these things together and how the integrations are shifting is the work that we do with NVIDIA Omniverse, Isaac Sim, Isaac Lab, and of course also Microsoft Azure. This enables a unified simulation workflow where developers can design robotic cells in high-fidelity simulation environments, validate robot behavior, train AI-based motion policies, and bring those behaviors straight to Nova as an execution layer onto the real robot. Therefore, simulation and compute becomes a natural extension for robot development and not a separated out silo. Let's zoom in for a minute to show how this comes together from a component perspective. Because the architecture that you see here is pretty fundamental to what we do and how our offering is complemented by our collaboration with Microsoft and NVIDIA. So at the bottom, you have Microsoft Azure, which provides the infrastructure layer, scalable compute, secure and global access, and the ability to run simulation, data services, and deployment pipelines at an enterprise scale. Above that, we have NVIDIA's Nucleus Enterprise Server, which is the data backbone, managing shared assets in OpenUSD, whether it's robots, their environments, tools, digital twins. This enables real-time collaboration and consistent workflows for different people across the workstream working together on the simulation. Above that, we have the Isaac Sim and Isaac Lab, and of course our own Isaac Sim extension that then provides you a virtual controller for the robot cell that you are working with. And of course, the Wandelbots Nova operating system instances that sit next to your robot cell and run the robot itself. And above that, we provide Wandelbots Nova Cloud, bringing it all together, connecting to the individual cells running on the OS, giving you again infrastructure for data, where you can run models, where you can train and bring things back to the physical cell. All that is complemented on the right side by a unified developer environment, VS Code extension, Copilot, and AI tools that then let you work with those robot cells in a uniform manner, no matter whether you're working with a virtualized cell in Omniverse or with a real physical cell, both running on Wandelbots Nova as an operating system and the according tool set. And let's have a look how some of our customers are already using this stack today to improve their operations and their shop floors. And the first example I want to talk about is our customer Schaeffler. There's the video playing. So for a new greenfield investment, building a production line for EV battery packs, Schaeffler, for their customer, chose to first build and validate the new line entirely in Omniverse. They started by modeling the line hardware, the work pieces, and of course the robots in those lines and their peripheral systems. grippers, vision systems, tooling, conveyor belts. And with Nova and the combination with Omniverse, Isaac Sim and Isaac Lab, they could rapidly test out different scenarios. They ran multiple iterations of the complex process that involves flexible workpieces, evaluating layouts, robot selection, and of course the programming as well. And all that was done before a single physical cell was assembled or a physical cell investment was made. And this, of course, dramatically decreased the deployment risk and really helped them to optimize the line long before they went into commissioning it physically. I'm proud to say that this is now up and running in a physical installation in a factory in Germany on Wandelbots Nova already today. A second example, a bit of a different approach taken by another customer of ours, the Harting Group. They ship standardized cells to factories around the world. So this is an assembly cell that you will find in many of their factories producing electronic components. But they needed a more modern software layer that would simplify commissioning, reduce maintenance complexity, and create software consistency across sites. So they used Nova for an existing environment to bring existing robot and PLC programming into a unified environment, build a digital twin of their cells in Omniverse, optimize the cycle time and trajectories using Nova's path planning tools, and generate a standard software package that they could deploy across all their factories, making maintenance of those cells more unified and easy for the engineers. So instead of handcrafted programs and many manual tweaks on site, they now have a reusable Python-based program logic that travels with the cell into the factory. And it means that robot developers can finally work like modern software teams with the proper tooling, version control, shared assets, test environments, and of course, continuous integration. And we believe that this is how robotics and industrial robotics will become democratized, not by dumbing it down, but by turning it into a scalable and modern software practice. Thank you.
Very much. Thanks very much, Stefan. Great. So we've gone from automation to robotics, and what's really amazing is how agentic AI is transforming the relationship between people and those agents. Mixed teams are becoming the norm, and especially this has an impact on the frontline workers that are having to think about the intelligent collaboration between agents and themselves. So here to tell us more from the Industrial AI team, Tom, come on up. Thank you.
So AI is transforming work from complex systems to boosting productivity to the tackling the very challenges that have inherently characterized manufacturing front lines and innovation for decades. But at the same time, we have the most frontline workers. Over 2.4 billion frontline workers across the manufacturing sector, largely unserviced with technology. So because of that, we see a number of big, substantial challenges that we're trying to tackle with AI, from high overhead or high turnover to minimal on-the-job assistance and information, to poor training and skilling, which is often very manual. These challenges go beyond the technical and go beyond just the ability to get information to workers when they need it in the flow of their work. And it really becomes integral to their inability to advance in their careers, retain organizations to retain their employees, and even advance those employees, throughout the organization. So addressing these challenges is really important, not only to the efficiency that we see within industrial operations, but to empowering the individuals that make the industry move. And AI, and agentic AI for that matter, is really redefining how the front line both interacts with technology but uses that technology. Traditionally, the systems of records that a lot of our operators have to leverage are very complex, multiple screens, multiple systems, multiple stations, some manual steps thrown in just for fun. That is all changing with agents because we're taking interfaces and making them, yes, less UI heavy and more intelligence forward, right? Generative AI is letting workers interact intuitively with those systems of records and the data behind them so they can get the information that they need when they need it. This is not only allowing them to focus on more higher priority work, but better improving engagement as well as driving that efficiency that I mentioned. And with Copilot as the system of engagement, we can unify and intuitively create experiences that, for every frontline worker, that not only turn complexity into simplicity, but turn intelligence into action. And so I wanted to revisit this slide for just a quick moment, because when you look at, and Mike talked about the confidence that we have in generative AI, but you also see that confidence translate to where organizations are investing first, because they recognize that there is a major challenge they have these major challenges on their front line, and in both within the operations and tangentially related to those frontline operations, from production, supply chain, and even service workers in the field. So we see across the organizations that we work with and customers that we talk to, they are prioritizing frontline use cases ahead of others. And so I wanted to take a moment and actually explore very quickly, hopefully, a day in the life of a frontline worker with agents. So I'm going to switch to my computer. And yes. So Megan, as you met on the last slide, is our warehouse manager. And so in her day-to-day, she has a lot of responsibilities that she needs to govern with regards to how her facility runs. So using an agent, rather than trying to track down information, from different prior shifts or different boards that are scattered around the facility that may be hard to interpret, she can simply ask Copilot to give her a brief on what happened the last shift, what does she need to prioritize, and how should she tackle that, in her day. So using voice, she can simply ask the Copilot to give her that briefing, and then it will do the reasoning for her, giving her a prioritized list of here are the 2 top priorities. So we see that there's congestion in aisles with our materials, and then we also see that we have a resourcing issue on our team. So those are the 2 things that she should prioritize when she gets in that day. And she can also make this part of her routine by scheduling it so that she sees it every day when she comes in. And then so knowing that we have these 2 issues, she can then ask the Copilot to help her solve and for recommendations on how to solve that the reslotting issue. And that Copilot will then give a recommendation on what materials should be reslotted into what aisles for greater efficiency. That Copilot will then create a work order and reassign workers to do that work automatically. And they'll see that in their mobile applications. And because we're running out of time, I'm going to stop there and ask Mike to come back to the stage and wrap us up. So hopefully this, as he does, hopefully this just gives a quick sense for what's capable with agents on the front line.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. Awesome. So hopefully today you've seen us talk a little bit about, let's see what's coming up there. Talk a little bit about the entire journey, and there are different stages that different customers are going to be at, of course, through this journey. And sometimes we're just trying to get connected. Sometimes we're far advanced and moving along through things and pushing the boundaries of what we believe the state of the art are. Everything from industrial automation to robotics to the frontline worker impact with working with mixed teams of agents. Things are really coming together quickly. We don't do this alone. We work with great partners like you've seen today, and some other great partners like Mesh, NVIDIA, Rockwell, Sight Machine, just to name a few who are also at this show. Hopefully in the last couple of days you may have been able to see our AIO demo as well. If you haven't, please do check out my LinkedIn. We've got a blog there. We've got a link out to the new features. All of this helps us to create that great ecosystem that we need to have for those solid industrial AI architectures. So thank you all so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time today. Be sure to check us out and have a great rest of your show. Thanks a lot.